Alrighty, welcome back. Part 3 of Day 8. Start off with an arena bout for this 55 compared to our 41. But the team is nearly 10,000 points lower and only a 3-member non-pet team. So let's give it a crack to see if we can do it. After that, we will get the full screen for viewing pleasure. Remember, we still got the tower to do tonight in this segment. And level 42 coming our way. Okay, what's going on, Nexters? Alright. Yeah, I think. Oh, is it going? The hell's your problem, Nexters? Four on three. Oh, they're still had the shield. Damn it. 2 on 2. And we win. Move on up to 1589 in the arena battle. We have one arena fight left for the evening. But I'm glad we actually got the winning battle. Don't know what's loading now. Oh, the tower. Let's go out. I want to get this full screen for everybody. Alrighty. Should be. Come on, Nexters. This is not rocket science. For crying out loud. You know, the machine's ice cold. What the hell? Everything's working all day. Now the moment we want to do our video, it's fighting. Alright. I think we finally got control. Alright, so we have our ranking reward for the arena for the wit day. Claim that. Something's triggered into special events. I'd be quite interested to see what. The adventure continues. So we have days logged in. Up to all 7. Common cause, guild activity points. Up to 5,000. Rune magic. Glyphs. And I'm almost to the total on that already. Now let's see, needs one more to 10. Well, that's going to be easy. 50, 70, 80. Oh yeah, that's going to earn 700 guild points. So that covers the first 3 there. Star alignment, promoting heroes to stars. And that totally completes that one out. Master Squad, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. That's done. Spend emeralds. Get a cash and energy bonus. I'm assuming this is going to be buy emeralds. Now, buy 3, you get 500 free. Buy 9, you have 1500. 3, you'd have 45. 8, you'd have 95. 15, you have 19.5. 30, 29, 34.5. And then 80, you get you get even more. It'd be like 120. You'd have 200,000 emeralds. I guess something also triggered now in Astral Season. So let's go there. Okay, you got a day and change in 5 days. Daily quest. Get some guild points. Into the fun dungeon, the fungeon. There you go. Now you get your regular cards at 100. This is just because I have the Valkyrie flavor for about another 6 hours. And that means that we will come back to that. I do right now though want to grab the 3 Titan Spears. Well, 3 Summoning Spears. Alright, let's hit the tower. Actually, first, if I remember right, when we left last time, we were just 1 point away experience points, 1 experience point away. 273, you got it. That'll do. Alright, let's see what we can do in this battle. I will apologize, the stuttering is actually on Nexter's end, at least in this battle. Because I'm getting it here too, it isn't just on the recording. The audio took to the very end before it decided to show up. Alrighty, so next items are at level 50. But now we can promote our main core to 42. Yasmin's actually got a blue one now. I mean, a green one that you can actually do. Arrows. Let's see if this battle actually is going to work right. If it doesn't, we might actually just have to play the rest offside and just come back for day 9, which I'm certainly hoping not to have to do. Well, we're 42 at least. Let's get the updated sheet done here. 17 of 950. So there we go. 17 of 950. Arrows are going to hang out there for just a few seconds. I'm not expecting it to be the problem, but I'm trying to clear out some computer memory just in case real quick. Because I definitely don't want to go through this tower with the game even lagging on my side. Alright, let's give it a go. And again, we're in freaking holding pattern. Oh, this is not making me happy, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see from that top corner, when it's over the actual game, it's the blue pinwheel of non-quite happiness. And, well, alright, let's try it. I'm not holding out too terribly much hope, but we're just going to give it a shot. Alright, again, since we did beat all of them yesterday, we do get to skip the first 26 levels if it lets us play. And we get tower coins. Nice little shield. Tower coins again. candle. Well, at least it looks like we're back, at least for the moment, to a normal game progression. As long as this holds, we will continue through part 3. Money, honey. And of course, the second I say that now, it's giving slickenishness again. Tower coin. And we get some money for that honey. The rosary. One more boost before one more chest. And then from there, 27 to 50 is all on the Heroes of Dominion. And we get the hats. Actually, they got a full 10. It's enough to fully crate that particular item straight out. No extra items that had to be collected. That 10 could just automatically become full-fledged hat. So that's not a terrible prize in the chest. Okay, after this fight, I think we're going to switch back up to the Sanctuary, because I think we can make him green. Let's hit our chest first. And we get money. Okay. So we will stop at 29 for the moment. Let's head on up. Later on, we will get something here referred to as Asgard, but that's going to be in a while still. Alright, loading up the Pet Sanctuary. Alright, what new merchant items tonight? No, only 5 chaos particles. Alrighty, Oliver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Oliver, welcome to the green world. Alright. So we'll take both of our top pets up to their max, which is now the same as the heroes, level 42. Alrighty, back on the tower. So we can try to finish it with the leveled up pet now. Once we are finished, we will head over to the special events. Because remember, the last one in that one item was to make 2 pets level green. And with Oliver going green, that's the second pet. Alright, power bonus. We'll take the shield and the sword. Level 31. 5 blues on a partridge in a pear tree, valued at 22.7. Send the blade. And the back row took it extensively bad. Treasure chest time. Going for hearts. We get the tower coin. 33, triple threes, all of the threes, 33. Gauge the heal. Oh, that actually healed him just from the flower girl, Maya. And first of the double dips, 34. Slam, and wow, bam. Perfect win, treasure chest time. And we get the item, 10 of those sword thingies. 24-1, the next team's power. And we'll start it right away with the blade. And no one liked Astroff. Goodbye. Did anyone tell you you could get to touch Yasmin? No, I didn't think so. Alrighty, 37. We'll take all 3 buffs, actually. Alrighty, attack up by 17, magic by decreased by 50, regular attacks decreased by 70%. Still think it's quite weird that on this new From Day One account, Kira is 5th in the team lineup. We're over on my main account. Kira 3rd. And we get money. I'd actually taken the needles there. Alrighty, about halfway of top 3 characters. And Maya did her job. Good round of healing. Second of the double dip, 41. 25,006 now. The ever increasing energy level. Alrighty, down to 4. And, oh, he jumped in the back to save himself, but it didn't last long. And that's it. 42, treasure chest time. Now I'll take the money or the coin. Of course, now I get the item. Alrighty, so buffs are now at 75%, 29% for the attack boost, 50% for magic defense. Coming on the final home stretch, starting with 44. 44, of course, being the start of the last of the double dips. Galahad we didn't like, but I was going to say Galahad lasted for a half a second longer than he should have. And that's it. So, 45. Hold on a second. If we're not lasting long enough to get a heal off, let's try Albus. Question is it the same time frame for him, so he wouldn't get his attack off? We'll see. Yep, so we're this close to winning. We definitely cannot go into the good night with a loss. Damn it! Try it a third time. If first you don't succeed, three times a winner. I know that ain't the same, but bear with me. Damn it, he died. Oh, I got out in time. Or did I? Just barely. Alright. On to 46. Last treasure chest before the top. Battle, and then we'll have our last boost before the top. 27,000, the new top energy park. No, still didn't get time to get the heal in. Hoping I don't need that. Alright, last battle. Remember, you need over 60,000 grand total. Oh, we lost him. But we got 61,090. So it's going to be enough. And we get cash for our final. Pick up the prizes. Alright, so the tower is complete. I did not tell you to buy energy games, so I don't know what you're doing there. especially since we're at 214. Somebody tried to attack us in the arena. Shame, shame, shame. Well, we'll take the coins. Special event prizes. Alright, so we have the Chaos Invention. Pick the last prize there. Adventure continues. Master Squad. That's the energies there and the diamonds. And the pet disappeared because everything's been claimed. I guess this one won't disappear regardless. Oh, it's got 12 hours, so it'll disappear. Guild reset tomorrow. And what do we have that completed? Oh yeah, this is 100 towers. Alright, level 4, you get 10 of the books. So that's 500 points you could put towards the glyphs. A little more energy will actually force the next one too. Now, I know Astaroth is 44. Okay, they're both 44. Astaroth and Maya. You get those, you can actually get those off before 44. We got plenty of energy, let's do a little bit of grinding. It was supposed to give me the arrows, you darn game. Don't know if you realize, but that wasn't arrows. Neither was that. There's an arrow. There's an arrow. There we go. Now we're starting to get them. See if we can keep that up. Also, if any of you do have a suggestion as to a good time schedule for the episodes, I am more than happy to listen and work the best into people's suggestions. drop them below, or of course at email at gchero@gmail.com. There we go, picking up some of the arrows finally. And we're at 6, needing 4 to promote character. Alright, so we need 4. Back to Deadly Shroud we go. So that's weird because it looks like Nexters doesn't expect players to get till 38 to the end of week 2. And here we are at 42 already on day 8. There we go. That is number 8. Needing 2 to complete the jackpot. You know, I'm actually thinking of a pretty interesting story I should put up. We can have going between them, probably during the dungeon fights. Especially in the early days of the pandemic. So we're talking like March of last year. There was quite a lot of weird situations, let's just say. What's going on is people were trying to figure what could or what couldn't be done, what shouldn't be done. All of that. It was probably about the last time for a long time that there were quote unquote in class lessons, especially like in the college setting. This would have been from the land down under in Australia. There we go, we got our arrows. Which brings Jasmine to the Purple Land. So we get 3 items for her straight away. Alrighty. So that now puts the team at 45,000. 373 for power. When we do our last one, that should have a lot more meaning now. Let me see. So this would have been about a year and a half ago. Oh, so we still have some items. Okay, let's take a look. Yes. Oh, so that's just the energy. Okay, so the only thing triggering the light is the energy. But Astral Season is lit. So let's go over here. Oh, we get the other weekly. Alright, level 5, 3,000 pet potions. If you had the golden ticket, we'd have a 3-star Ishmael and a 2-star Mara pet already. Alright, let's head on up. There it is. Alright, so we have 4 balls. Let's see if we get lucky on any of these. That one you don't. Sigurd. Alrighty, so we're gonna go down under to a college called Macquarie, Macquarie University. The professor is called Zara, my apologies. Oh, now that is an awesome pull. That is a Super Titan. Super Titans automatically form at 3 stars. That is a holy crap. That's what that is. And it was the last spear, too. It was the last spear to be able to pull out of the ball. So he gets to join everybody at the 3-star level right away. Unfortunately, he's only at 5 for the level. You can't really buy Titan potions, unfortunately. I don't have any. I was looking to see if I had any treasure chests that might just lucky pull one off, but no. Dang it. I got a ton of freaking pet potions. But yeah, no for the deal. So, I'm going to leave you with that story. It's only about a 4-minute story. Then when we come back, we'll work on the dungeon. Now, I do have to give you just a little heads up. If you're watching this particular episode at work, you might not want the audio going out. It isn't anything pornographic or anything, but I will give it the NSFW warning. So without further ado, down under at Macquarie University. This actually happened live while the professor was actually presenting the deal both in class and streaming online for anybody wanting to take or audit the class.
More into term. Give me a minute, guys. I just want to bleach my eyes and my brain. I love you all, but give me 1 sec. We're gonna have to have a talk now. Jesus.
We're gonna have a talk.
All right. So I know that precedent is a very sexy topic, and I know that I love it when my audiences are excited and animated and engaged. Dear Lord. But there's a limit to that, and ironically, it's the law students and the student code of conduct that governs that. So that being said, dear Lord, if you'd like to have special love time with your partner,
Well, yeah, I agree with you, sir. Go ahead.
If you'd like to spend time with your partner, there are some perfectly sanitized and malleable beanbags over at Muse, and I'm sure that there's an empty cinema around here still trying to make the movie Cats work. It's empty. Go for your life. And this is the second time I'm saying this in my career. No below the belt touching in my lecture theatre, please.
Students, by the way, shocked at this point. Now they're clattering.
I'm not going to name and shame.
They're yelling name and shame.
Alright, we're still on.
No, they just realized this is being live streamed.
This is a mentoring unit, so I will give some sort of mentorship here. Advice. The strategic placement of the hoodie on the lap only draws the eye more. And, yeah, and I just mimed that. Okay, I'm going to put my hands away, I'm not going to mime that. I said before that I was glad that they kept the university open today. I don't know. Although I guess if we actually enforced that 1.5 meter rule, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you now. Jesus Christ, commencing class of 2020. I do love you. We'll remember this fondly, and I'll remind you of this moment at graduation.
Oh, jeez.
Let's get back to it.
Oh, that was my keyboard.
I don't know if I can. Give me 1 sec. Let me just figure out what... Meh. Look, I'm not going to name and shame, but I will say MQ Love Rants exists for a reason. Okay. So, in terms of nomenclature, I'm doing this, okay. In terms of the application of precedent, judges will generally use a uniform set of terminology. We were live streaming that.
We were live streaming it.
I hope you had as
we were live streaming that. They were famous last words of the professor. We were live streaming that. We were live streaming that. Oh. Again, that was from Macquarie University, down under in Australia. Alright, so let's get to our dungeon. Starting at level 81 this evening. And remember, if we do make it to level 100, we will get 5 extra cards. Alrighty, 217s, we'll just accept that fate. Whenever I can, we'll jump back to try to power up Hyperion because there isn't much Titan potions at the moment, which unfortunately is going to leave him on the weak side compared to everyone else, even though he is a super Titan. Now, each of the 3 super Titans, Araji, Hyperion, and Eden, have a very special capability for themselves. Let's see, is that enough to get Hyperion a level? Let's see. Yep, just barely. Alright, so they are level 6. Hyperion's the one I like most of all because he actually will boost yeah, we'll go with it. Hyperion will actually heal others in the party, providing they've taken at least any damage at all. Eden throws a big boulder that stuns the hell out of the characters, plus also creates, of course, explosive damage. And Araji just shoots a stream of fire out at the opponent. So if I was going to get any of the 3 supers to start, Hyperion's probably a pretty good choice. You don't get to choose, of course. That's a rare drop, and to get that to basically drop in my lap on only 4 picks, it's pretty good. Heck of a good, actually. Alrighty, so we're going to turn around the clubhouse here at 90. And nope, needs 75 more before we can get him another level. Alright, so by the time we get to the turn, we'll have enough for another level. Now, the weird thing, though, is it could also definitely affect the game's determinations. Because some of these quote-unquote power doors for Titans are geared specifically to what the game considers to be your strongest group compared to what it considers to be your weakest group. That second door is normally geared either to everybody or to your strongest group. Right now, unfortunately, the strongest group is the 2 Fire 17s. On my main account, it's actually my Earth 4. It's considered my strongest, so that's why they get the door positioning there. So now it's the two weaker teams, the earth and the water. Okay. So we'll go down. When we're going down, Hyperion can go up. Well, we got him at least to level 7. Alright. Again, the weakest portion is the pointed. Alright, so that brings all 5 out. Now we're getting double. First time that you fight a particular level ever, you'll get double. If you have to repeat a section in the dungeon, then you'll only get single prize. And note, don't be like me back in March of this year when I started this game. Don't think the double is double of the double. When I started, I saw that, I go, oh, that means I get 4, right? 2 times 2? No, the game's already doubling it for you. If you normally would get 1, it's being doubled to 2. So now, see, for 100, you get 5 more cards. If you don't have an account or didn't buy it, the Valkyrie Blessing, this at level 100 would be the first time that you get the cards at all. Alright, so there's another 50. Our fire team, and we're down to 1. We may just get this 1 trip back before being done. You know, weirdly, in the first 2 parts of today's day 8, I used a music piece titled Lucky Pony. I never thought I'd get so many emails. By the way, of course, you can always email me at gchero.wars@gmail.com on that clip. Ask me what the heck it is, where it came from. And a few other things. I don't know, maybe tomorrow we might take a moment break like we did for the Macquarie University story. And actually show where that lucky pony comes from. Tell you, you'll probably be disappointed. No, it doesn't come from the cartoon series My Little Pony. And again, on that, it's neither the original 80s version or the newer Cartoon Network / whatever the heck friendship is whatever. No offense to anybody who may consider themselves to be a brony or anything like that, but that clip, Lucky Pony, doesn't come from there. Alright, so one more before we finish this trip around. Grab the spear. We'll start again at 100 if we need to tomorrow. And technically, if we can get 10 more, we'll get a spear. Ugh. Stupid flies. Alright, so let's go for it. Maybe. Okay, there it goes. We've used the 15 that came from the Valkyrie. We have just the 5 remaining that came from level 100. You might ask what happens when they run out. Nothing really. It's just you won't be able to skip a battle anymore. You'll have to do them all yourself. Alright, so let's do an upgrade. Hyperion gets 2 levels, so he's a level 9 now. Once we're done with her... Oh... How much life does he have left? Oh, he's got almost a full life bar. Guess they're not going to give it to us. Damn it. Alright, alright. Anything new? Nope, just the energy boost. Anything up here? Alrighty. So, Yasmin, we need needles. Well, let's grind ourselves some needles. I think this could be funny. Let's get a different background. From time to time, there are just certain shows, certain comedies that can transcend the time in their era. Like All in the Family. Had the individual in question not done what he did, you could possibly even say the Cosby Show, but of course, with what he did, that's going to be off limits probably for the end of the time, just like anything over in the UK that Mr. Salvo did. Okay, no, Jim will fix it, please. And if you don't know that reference, count yourself lucky you don't. A lot of kids over there wrote to the guy in the 70s and 80s for him to try to make their wishes come true. when he died, his epitaph on his tombstone said it was good while it lasted. You might think that's okay, but given that we know now that Jimmy Salvo was a very, very, very bad sex predator, or pedo, the epitaph, it's good while it lasted, is definitely even more creepy. But getting back to what I actually wanted to start about, there are certain shows and comedies that do transcend the time, like Monty Python, and one of the others being a US series called The Golden Girls, which actually had 4 friends, Dorothy, Rose, Blanche, and Sophia, living together in one home down in Miami, Florida, or Fort Lauderdale, some city in Florida. Everything. So Dorothy being a retired school teacher, Sophia being the mother of Dorothy, Sicily type character. Blanche, even though she's an old lady, still trying to be the hottie trotty, kind of like gigolo type lady. And Rose Nylan, played by one of the very funny comedians, Betty White, the character from the Minnesota town of St Olaf. Note, I'm not that far away from Minnesota. There is no town there. At least I believe there is no town. Better say that because somebody might just go and post down in the comments. Yeah, St. Olaf is right here between Duluth and Mankato or something. So I better cover my own tracks. I don't believe there's a St. Olaf in Minnesota. But one of the things that she was always known for, one of her recurring little bits, is that she would go and relay a story from St. Olaf that Rose believed would answer whatever dilemma the girls were having at that particular episode. Majority of the time, you would have to make a damn stretch to do so. But the stories were still also quite unbelievably funny. Somebody sent me a bunch of Dorothy St. Olaf clips, and if I can get the other computer queued up with them, like we did for the Macquarie University down in Australia, we'll play a few of those while we grind. So far, though, the computer is fighting me more than Nexters was fighting us at the beginning of this part 3. Doesn't normally help when you got like 3 or 4 keyboards and 3 or 4 mice around trying to get everything to play nice. Come on, give me some needles. For the love of needles, I want some needles. Need 2 of them. Just for our first grind. It looks like multiple characters are needing them. While we're waiting, grab a drink of ice water. Yeah, I know it's December, but ice water is a lot more healthy than trying to get Coke or something. sorry, I was drinking that. Taking a drink of ice water. Let's get another needle grind going. Still gotta think of that story from Down Under. The strategically placed hoodie over the lap did not help their cause. I guess those were people who didn't care about COVID-19 come heck, high water, or, well, come. Well, we're getting everything but the needle. But I want the needle. How hard is it to give me a needle? I guess quite hard. So, are you trying to make the needles have the drop rate of Super Titans? Still no needle. How dare you? There we go. We finally got a needle. Alrighty, so... Oh, hold on. Blade bow's available? It's sold. I don't have to... Oh. Can't use it to level 60 frickin' 5, though. Jesus criminy. Guess what? More needles. So let's at least try it. I don't know how good quality this can be. Let's at least try a St Olaf story.
It's like something that happened back in St Olaf. Oh, Rose, stop. Rose, why is it when any one of us makes an observation, the first thing we hear from you is back in St Olaf? Did it ever occur to you that we might be sick and tired of hearing back in St Olaf, back in St Olaf, back in St Olaf?
Gee, no, I never realized. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Back in that town whose name you're tired of.
Back in that town whose name you're tired of hearing. Alright, so here is our first of
My
stories.
father, I always picture him pulling a giant tuna up Main Street.
else. Who doesn't, Rose?
It wasn't a real tuna. It was made of chrysanthemums. It was the float in the Founders Day parade. You probably don't know this, but my hometown was founded by Heinrich von Anderböhmen. The first man to ever can tuna in its own natural juices. Anyway, it was the 50th anniversary celebration of the founding of our town. My father was chosen to pull the float. He thought it was because he had the newest tractor, but actually it was because he was the only one small enough to fit into the mayonnaise jar costume.
Oh, jeez.
I'll never forget the moment we caught sight of him turning off the sycamore onto Elm. Something must have happened to the tractor, because there he was. This lone little mayonnaise jar.
Oh, no.
Dragging this giant tuna up the hill and past the reviewing stand. I don't think I've ever been prouder in my life.
Oh, gross.
It's very touching, Rose. It shouldn't be, but it is.
Oh, Rose.
Yeah, let's do a second story while we're at it.
Was booked. Fingerprints, mugshots. I'm a known criminal. I'll never be able to go back to my hometown again.
Oh, honey, nobody back home's ever going to find out about this.
Oh, yes, they will. The St Olaf Courier Dispatch is known for its investigative reporting.
You're right. That series they did on oat fungus was an uncompromising piece of journalism. This has to be the biggest disappointment of my life.
Yeah, and I've known some real disappointments, too, believe me.
Rose, you're not going to tell us that story about the exploding pig again, are you?
I never told you a story about an exploding pig, Dorothy. It was a peg-legged pig. Our possum was the one that exploded.
Forgive me, Rose. There have been so many possum explosions lately, it's hard to keep track.
So what was this great disappointment in your life, Rose?
Butter. I wanted to be Butter Queen. Butter Queen was our town's highest honor. From the time I was born, my folks drove me for it. Singing lessons, dancing lessons, junior butter pageants. For 16 years, my entire life revolved around butter.
You were very fortunate. So many of us wasted our youth.
When the time came for the pageant, I was incredible. I showed poise in the evening gown competition. I was brilliant in the oral butter quiz. They couldn't even trip me up with a trick margarine question. That evening, butter was spelled R-O-S-E.
Rose, you're embarrassing yourself. Please don't go on.
I have to, Dorothy. I've kept these bitter butter memories too long.
God damn.
As the pageant drew to its frenzied finale, there I was, alongside the other two finalists, churning my guts out. But all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, my churn jammed. Yes! And just like that, it was over. I'd lost. It was the biggest disappointment in my life. It was small consolation to find out years later there had been churn tampering involved. I wrote the fight song for our high school. Onward, St. Olaf, they still sing it. Onward, St. Olaf, onward we go. Onward and onward, St. Olaf's go. Go, 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 go.
Oh, jeez.
Rose. Honey, it's a very catchy tune, but who wrote those lyrics?
I did. Lyrics aren't even my strong point. I just got lucky that one time. Before we go home to spend Christmas with our families, why don't we have a little celebration right here, St. Olaf style?
No, I will not drink eggnog while wearing a cast iron brassiere.
We don't do that at Christmas. We do that at Easter. Oh, I remember the first time I ever saw the ocean. It was on my honeymoon. My husband, Charlie, and I drove from Minnesota to New York. Well, actually, we were driving to California. We were young and in love, and I was blowing in Charlie's ear. He lost his sense of direction on the turnpike. We didn't care. We were just so... I love charities. In fact, I helped establish the Henry Fjord Foundation.
The Henry Fjord.
Foundation.
Yes, Dorothy, you know that's the man who built the fjord, the Alkins. Henry Fjord was a saint. He dedicated his whole life to eliminating pond scum from Lake St Olaf. His son, however, was a big disappointment. Henry Fjord Jr. He didn't want to follow in his father's footsteps. He thought scum was beneath him. Olga Fetchik was our town beautician, and one of God's most unattractive creations since the aardvark. Anyway, over the years, Olga had been secretly squirreling away money for plastic surgery. But one day she left without telling anyone, had the surgery, and didn't return for months. Well, nobody could believe their eyes. Olga Fetchik had turned into a stunning beauty. Every man in town wanted her, and she ended up marrying St. Olaf's most handsome and eligible bachelor, dance instructor Adolf Stepp. The two of them moved back to Norway, decided to get into show business, and they became the internationally renowned Scandinavian dance team of Stepp and Fetchik. Rose, not that I care, but since you've already gone to so much trouble, just how did having plastic surgery ruin Olga's life? Oh, it didn't ruin her life. It almost ruined St. Olaf. I mean, after she left, the town didn't have a professional beautician for years. Women started getting each other home perms. Pretty soon everybody looked like Art Garfunkel. Husbands stopped sleeping with their wives. The population started to go down. Well, the town would have gone under if Oslo's most famous hairstylist, the Dalsass Bogadottir, hadn't relocated his shop in St. Olaf because of our more favorable tax laws. Now, you see why I don't like plastic surgery? Oh, I just love to welcome people to the neighborhood. In fact, back home, I used to run our town's welcome wagon.
Please don't be real one.
Well, whenever a new family had moved into St. Olaf, we'd all hop on the tractor and ride out to the new neighbor's farm. 30 or 40 of us carrying vats of smoked fish and big pitchers of freshly squeezed potato juice. Well, Cousin Jack played getting to know you through the hole in his windpipe.
Tell me, Rose, did you ever accompany him through the hole in your head?
Ladies and gentlemen, our charity dance marathon is now entering its 7th hour. Let's give our contestants a great big hand.
Hi, girls. How are you holding up? Oh, fine. Just doing fine.
Terrific.
You know, this reminds me of the big dance back in St. Olaf to kick off pretzel week. My Uncle Gunther after the great beer nut shortage of 20.
Foul, send the judge over here. This woman is trying to put us to sleep.
Believe it or not, I never had the occasion to visit St. Olaf.
Really? You mean not even to change planes for St. Gustav?
Oh, you can't get to St. Gustav by plane, Dorothy. You have to go by toboggan. Of course, traveling in the summer is really rough on the old hiney.
But it's a great way to rack up lots of frequent tobogganer mileage.
I remember when I was a little girl back in St. Olaf. There was this old lady who lived up the street. She never smiled. I mean, she always looked angry. The kids said she'd kill anyone who even stepped on her property. We used to call her Mean Old Lady Hickenlooper. Yeah, kids can be pretty cruel. No, that was her name, Mean Old Lady Hickenlooper.
That was her name.
She had to change legally because everybody called her that. Then how come your name is a Big Dummy? Well, there were already 3 other people in town. But that's beside the point. One day, I got up the courage to go up to Mean Old Lady Hickenlooper and ask her why she always frowned. Well, she had been born with no smiling muscles. I pointed out that a frown is just a smile turned upside down. So from then on, whenever I go by, she'd stand on her head and wave.
Oh, dear God.
That is one of the stupidest stories I've ever heard. Well, I think I'd better be going too. But it's still so early. I thought we could all have a game of Oogle and Floogle. I don't believe I've ever heard of that. Oh, we used to play it back in St. Olaf. It's an adult version of hide and go seek. And how does it differ from the children's version? Adults play it.
Adults play it. Yeah.
Of course, I should have known.
Maybe it's time that you went out and tried to make new friends.
It's not that easy to make new friends. It sure wasn't for the first Eskimo family that moved to St. Olaf. Especially after they sawed a hole and went salmon fishing in the middle of the local ice skating rink. And then there was the Halloween they gave all the kids whale blubber. And then there was the time they borrowed every ice tray in town to build an addition over their garage.
What was the point, Rose?
I guess after the baby came, they needed more room. The point of the story. Well, gradually they were able to make friends, and they ended up the most popular family in town. But only because they went out and met people. Isn't that right, Rose? No, it was because in the drought of 49, their house melted and kept the town from dehydrating. I thought you was there.
Can't sleep. I just lie awake thinking about Michael and Lorraine.
Listen, Dorothy, just a word of caution. I almost lost my Becky when I stuck my nose into her business. Now, believe me, it is not worth it. Blanche is right. The same thing happened to the Big Botters back in St. Olaf. You see, Gretchen had this thing for Buddy, but Mr. Big Botter didn't approve. He did his best to keep them apart, but one day he came home early and he found Gretchen and Buddy in, how will I say it, a most indelicate situation.
What did he do?
Well, he yelled at them to stop, but they wouldn't, so he turned the hose on them. He turned the hose on them? Well, they were in the front yard.
Wait a minute, Rose. Buddy and Gretchen weren't people, were they?
Of course not. They were dogs. Gretchen was a Dalmatian and Buddy was a Schnauzer. And Mr. Big Butter wasn't too happy when he ended up with a litter of Schnalmatians. You know, Rose, sometimes I wish somebody had turned the hose on your palate. I remember one Mother's Day I spent with somebody else's mother. I was on my way back to St. Olaf. I was stuck in this little bus station. You know, I think I'd almost forgotten what real cold feels like. I guess I've gotten used to tropical weather.
You here all the way from Nebraska?
Miami.
Miami. That closer to Omaha or Lincoln?
Gee, it's great to be home. They told me in Minneapolis that I could change buses here for St. Olaf.
That's right.
How much is it?
You want the express or the yokel?
Don't you mean local?
No, ma'am, I mean yokel. On the yokel, a family of first cousins plays banjo music as the passengers get on and off.
Do they take requests?
No.
Give me the express.
You got about an hour to kill.
Oh. Excuse me. Are you waiting for the bus to Northern Falls? No, St. Olaf. I've visited there. Lovely little town. Oh, yes, it is. Rolling hills. Charming homes. Yes. Full of idiots. Yes. What? I never saw anything like it. Must be the water. I grew up in St. Olaf, and most of my family still lives there. Oh, no offense, dearie. I didn't say that everyone there was an idiot. It just seemed, though, that per capita they had more than their share. Oh, well, per capita, you're probably right. I just hate the idea of wasting time. I always have. Ever since what happened to my neighbor in St. Olaf. Rose, are you about to educate us on the evils of wasting time by telling a long, tedious St. Olaf story? You know a better way?
That's a point, Blanche.
It was back in 1955,
can't get a
and we
needle.
had just moved into our first house right next door to Pigpen Johansson. That wasn't his real name. That was a nickname, Pig. No, Johansson.
Pigpen was really.
Pigpen had just turned 80, And the town bylaws made him leave his job teaching driver's training at the high school.
On at 80, it was about time.
Well, it had nothing to do with his age. There was an old law on the books about driving with your shirt off.
I once got arrested for that in Chattanooga, too.
Blanche, let me ask you a question. Are you allowed to go back to Chattanooga?
Are you kidding? The sheriff still rides.
I don't believe it! This is incredible news. I've been nominated for St. Olaf Woman of the Year.
Well, that's nice. Did the new TV guide come yet?
Blanche, you don't understand. In St. Olaf, this is the highest honor there is. Oh, I never dreamed that someone as unqualified as I am would ever be nominated for anything so important.
I guess Dan Quayle really opened the floodgates.
Remember, this would have been mid to late 80s.
Last year, Gretchen Lillehammer won for running into the burning library and saving all the books.
That is amazing. How'd she do that?
She took 2 books in one hand and one in the other and ran like the Dickens.
The library had 3
The
books.
library only has 3 books. What happens when a person's read them all?
I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Well, I knew she'd be okay. Something similar happened to me back in St. Olaf. I was injured during a spirited game of Golakanagan.
Should I?
What the hell?
What is Golakanagan?
It's a lot like baseball, except instead of hitting a ball, you whack yourself on the head. After 10 whacks, if you're still standing, you take first base. It's usually a very low-scoring game.
This is so depressing.
We haven't had a customer in 2 hours.
Well, that's because we need promotion.
You know, Branch is right. It doesn't matter how good your product is, you have to know how to promote it. That sure was the case with Fritz Vanderhooven, who owned the St. Olaf Motor Coach Company.
They built a car in St. Olaf?
They sure did. The Vanderhooven rocket. Oh, it was a beauty. Fritz really had vision. Actually, he had double vision, which is why it had 8 tires. I heard a fable when I was a little girl in St. Olaf that might help. Can I tell you?
That's right, Rose. Wait till my defenses are down and take advantage of it.
Okie dokie. Once upon a time, in the magical land of Verfügenhafen, lived Tunder, the mediocre tiger. He was called mediocre because there was nothing special about him. He wasn't talented, he wasn't smart, he wasn't rich, he wasn't handsome, he wasn't good at anything.
If he also wore a bad toupee, she could be describing my Stanley.
That's her ex-husband.
Anyway, it made Tunder's wife miserable that her husband was best known for being mediocre.
I understand Marilyn Quayle feels the same way.
Another Quayle joke.
So she asked her fairy godmother to grant Tunder the ability to perform incredible feats of magic, and her wish was granted. Tunder the mediocre became Tunder the magnificent.
Guess you didn't want to change the monograms on his towels.
Well, Tunder the tiger spent so much time performing that he didn't have enough time to spend with his wife. Well, she told him that she missed the time they had together when he was just mediocre. So Tunder used his magic only once more, and that was to make his powers disappear.
And they lived happily ever after?
No, actually, she got bored and ran off with Wiseblack the Weasel. That was Tunder's old business manager. They lived happily ever after.
What happened to Tunder?
Oh, who cares?
Who cares? Damn it!
Hey, once you hear happily ever after, it's over. Rose, what are those pills for?
The doctor prescribed them when I wrenched my back.
I didn't know you'd hurt your back.
Oh, it's an old farm injury from St. Olaf. Oh, I'll never forget when it happened. It was time to plant the crops, but after 17 years of pulling a plow, poor old Bessie was worn out.
Well, why didn't you just get another mule?
Well, Bessie wasn't a mule. She was a big fat lady who pulled farm plows for a living. For God's sake!
What about tractors?
Well, come on, Blanche. If she was too old to pull a plow, how could she ever pull a tractor? Anyway, we had to till the soil, so I volunteered to pull the plow, and I hurt my back. All our children were conceived on special St. Olaf holidays. Adam was conceived on the day of the Princess Pig when they had the pig crowning. And Janella was conceived on Hay Day. That's the day we St. Olafians celebrate hay.
Rose, do you think you could wrap this up before Rebecca goes into labor?
Then it was the day of the wheat when everybody came to town dressed as sandwiches. Charlie and I forgot to put cheese between us, and before I knew it, there was Kirsten. This reminds me of the story of Gunilla Ulfstad, St. Olaf's very own angel of death.
Tell it, Rose, tell it.
Really, all the way through?
All the way through, but please try to make the end come as close to the beginning as possible.
Well, Gunilla Ulfsdotter was a nurse at Cedars of St. Olaf Hospital. One night she was taking care of Sven Bjornsson, and he asked her if she would get him some more mouth moisteners and then kill him. Gunilla brought the mouth moisteners right away, but the killing thing seemed to go against everything she'd been taught.
You're doing beautifully, Rose.
He begged, and by her coffee break she couldn't stand it anymore. So she pulled the plug, and he died. Well, she was racked with guilt that night. Not only had she parked her car in a doctor's spot, but she was never sure whether Sven's pleading was the pain talking or the medication talking or the guy in the next bed talking.
Oh, fuck.
You see, the guy in the next bed was Ingmar von Bergen, St. Olaf's meanest ventriloquist.
Jeez. Grab some better energy so we can keep grinding.
Rose, we are going somewhere with this. I mean, if not, I'm going to cut out your tongue.
Yes, Sven came back to haunt Gunilla. Since then, every Tuesday night at 10, 9 Central.
You kill someone, you end up being a Rose story.
You end up being a Rose.
Is this what you want? Rose, the point is, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like you.
Yes, and when you find that one person, you have to try even harder to get them to like you. Did I ever tell you the story about Herta Schornborst?
Many times.
Well, then you remember, he was St. Olaf's most famous shepherd. Well, Herta used to say, you can have 100 sheep, and if one goes astray, that's the one you go look for. Especially if it's the best looking one.
Rose has got to find some new role models.
Here it is, my present from Kirsten. Oh, she always knows just what her mother wants. It's a St. Olaf snowball.
Rose, there's nothing in there but snow.
That's what St. Olaf looks like in winter.
Have you ever heard of a little town called St. Olaf?
Oh, no.
No. Perfect. Now, as it was told to me, and I have to admit that I wasn't listening that closely, there was this farmer named Niels Niblung, and he had a pig named Brunhilde, and she won all the blue ribbons at all the county fairs. Well, Niels also had a daughter named Fricka, and she won red ribbons, usually as runner-up to the pig.
Does this story have a point?
You asked that at just the right time. Anyway, one April, Niels decided to breed Brunhilde. That's the pig, not the daughter. And he chose April because that's when pigs are at their most beautiful and desirable. Unfortunately, so was Fricka. So while Brunhilde and the pig were doing their thing, Fricka and the local pig breeder were doing theirs. God, I hope I got the names right. Anyway, when Niels heard about it, he banished Fricka from his house and his life forever.
So,
after a while, he lost interest in the pig's company, and he ate her. And he died St. Olaf's loneliest man.
is that the end of the story?
God, I hope so.
Rose, no encyclopedia salesman lugs around 26 volumes door to door.
Are you kidding? In St. Olaf, they carry 52.
Why?
Balance.
Rose, why don't they just carry 13 in each hand?
Excuse me, I have to make a phone call.
I knew I never should have gotten involved in this mother-daughter pageant. I just wish I'd known how to say no to it.
I know what you mean. I should have said no to the Miss St Olaf beauty pageant. It was 1951. That was the first year they let humans enter, too. I was way ahead after the evening gown and log rolling competition. People don't realize how hard it is to roll a log when you're wearing an evening gown. And the shocker is I lost out on the intelligence quiz.
Rose, hand me that newspaper.
No, you're going to hit me with it.
No, I won't.
You promise?
I promise. I haven't been this scared since 1952,
when St. Olaf's most active volcano threatened to erupt. Well, luckily, there were some Druid priests who were in town for the opening of Stonehenge land. And they said they could stop it if they could sacrifice the town's dumbest virgin. I don't know why I raised my hand. It must have just been the excitement of the moment. But they said the only way to prevent the eruption was for me to crawl through their legs up the volcano while they gave me my birthday wax. Well, and you're not going to believe this. It turns out they weren't Druid priests at all. Just a bunch of Shriners looking for a good time.
It's a scary story, Rose.
This is terrible. I was raised to hate communists. I remember in the early 50s when McCarthy came to St Olaf to speak in the town square. I was never so moved by a public speaker.
Yay, Merlin.
People thought he was a puppet for the right wing. No, wait, that was Charlie McCarthy.
I'd have put money on that.
But still, St. Olaf's town motto was better Ned than Red. Ned was sort of the town idiot. When, on your days off?
Oh.
There was a time in my life when I wanted to leave St. Olaf. I just didn't feel it was big enough for me. I had my eye on the great white way. So I went to St. Gustav, the city that never naps. That first night I walked around in amazement. They had their own photomat. Of course, it wasn't as large as the photomats you see today. Now, here's the scary part. Suddenly, I realized I was this frightened little girl alone in the big city. It started to rain, and I stood there in the middle of the town square and cried. There I was, drenched. And someone yelled out, "Hey, don't you have enough sense to come in out of the rain?" But then it hit me. When I went home to St. Olaf, I passed on this bit of street smart savvy. The next thing you know, in St. Olaf, the in thing was coming in out of the rain. I was the town celebrity until the phrase, "watch out for that tractor," caught on. Back in St. Olaf, there was a shepherd boy who tended his flock on the hill above the town. A wolf kept coming down and stealing his sheep, but the boy never caught him doing it. Because he never saw it happening, he became known around St. Olaf as the boy who didn't cry wolf. Anyway, one day the townspeople heard the boy on the hill yelling, "Wolf, wolf!" Well, they all figured if the boy never cried wolf when the wolf was there, if he yelled wolf now, it stood to reason the wolf wasn't there. Boy, nothing gets by you people. Damn straight, it was a bear.
It was a bear.
A huge, ferocious grizzly bear. What happened to the boy? He became known as the boy who cried continuously.
You know, Rose, we have a special section set aside for local artists. When you finish the series, maybe we can hang them in the museum.
Wow, hanging in the museum? Well, none of my relatives ever hung in a museum. Oh, wait, Uncle Gustav. Well, actually, he hung in the barn. But that was only when he discovered his horse had defeated him for water commissioner.
Now, our records show that you come from a town called St Olaf. You want to tell me about it? Mrs. Nylan, are you all right?
It's just that nobody's ever asked before. Well, I don't get it. They don't seem to have anything in common.
I guess it's just like that old saying, you know, opposites attract.
Oh, that's very true. Back in St. Olaf, Ollie Knudensprinkle and his wife Bridget were opposites in every way. I mean, he was fat, she was thin. He was neat, she was sloppy. He was tall, she was short. He was cheap, she was extravagant. He was
Opposites. We get the picture.
Well, anyway, I'll never forget the time they sang at our annual talent show, right after the herring juggling act.
You mean to tell me that somebody actually juggled herring?
No, it was the herring who did the juggling.
I hate you.
Then there was the time Hans Eriksson wanted to take an elk to the prom. The whole town was divided on that one.
Hi, Blanche. Rose, you know all that stuff you sold me, that St. Olaf memorabilia and the things from your childhood?
A lifetime of memories.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I came across these as I was tossing that junk in the dumpster.
That's a St. Olaf war bond. Charlie bought us those in 42. I didn't realize I still had those.
Well, now, wait a minute. Are you telling me that St. Olaf printed its own war bond?
Yes. Well, we were very patriotic. In late 42, we wanted to fund the development of a top-secret weapon that we were sure would end the war. Attack cows.
Take me now, Lord.
We had a gigantic black hole back in St. Olaf.
Oh, God.
On Main Street, right in front of the courthouse, where Charlie and I got our marriage license and our permit to have kids. Oh, it was a lovely hole. Everybody in town would stand around and look in it.
And they say Hollywood is the entertainment capital of the world.
Well, we didn't just look in it. Sometimes we'd point, too.
It's official. I hate her.
That reminds me of a story about St. Olaf's most famous match.
Please, Rose, spare me the endless, inane details of how Heidi Flugendugel Gergenplatz successfully matched a bull with a duck. And how their daughter was a bull duck who ran a small tattoo parlor in Vermont.
The last time I had courage, I confronted Lucan Olfnooner, St. Olaf's moodiest plastic surgeon.
Thank you very much, Rose. That was a great story.
Nice try, Dorothy. Anyway, Dr. Olfnooner did some work on my mom, and do you know who she came out looking like? Raymond Massey.
Rose, that's terrible.
Well, that's what I thought when I accused the guy of malpractice and ruined his business. Unfortunately, little did I know.
Know what, Rose?
Uh-oh.
That was the look she was going for. Someone was actually able to deceive me once.
Do tell, Rose.
St. Olaf's most famous OBMAG.
What's that?
Obstetrician magician. The amazing Shapiro. He delivered Bridget. But it was so confusing. It's a girl. Now it's a dove. Now it's a glass of milk. I don't know how he got her in that deck of cards. But there she was right after the King of Hearts. Is this your baby? I just got a special delivery letter from St. Olaf. Uh-oh. It's from the Department of Water and Coffee.
Water and coffee.
Coffee?
No thanks, it makes me jumpy.
Rose, what does the letter say?
You read it, Dorothy. I need both hands to cover my ears in case it's bad news.
Dear St. Olafian, I'm afraid there's bad news.
What?
There's a drought in St. Olaf which threatens the crops.
Oh, no, I better send water.
Please do not send water. We have found that envelopes leak. Until the rains come, we ask that all citizens be celibate, except for Ulf, the Umbrella King. He has suffered enough.
I remember back in St. Olaf.
Hold it right there, Will Rogers. None of us is in the mood to hear one of those St. Olaf stories.
Well, then here's one against your will. But to show you I'm a good sport, I'll get right to the part that'll make Blanche feel better. Anyway. Everybody in the village hated Ingmar. So we grabbed our torches and climbed the hill to his castle and pounded on the great oak door, but there was no answer. So we got a ladder and we climbed up to the window and we peeked in, and to our relief, there was Ingmar lying on... Oh, wait a minute, he was dead. I never got to go to the junior prom in St. Olaf. How come? It was just for people named Junior. Oh, I remember back in St. Olaf, during a tornado, my mother left the storm cellar to find Toto.
Oh, no!
Her constant companion and favorite cow.
Why are we nice to her?
The point is, when Mother went out in the storm, she got quite a bump on her head. For the rest of her day, she kept trying to get that cow in a little basket on the front of her bicycle.
Oh, damn it.
I am so mad. I just got a letter from back home all about my high school reunion. I didn't know I was going to miss such a good time. Listen to this. Dear Rose, you sure did miss a good time. The precision drill team wasn't the same without you. We could only spell out St. Olaf.
Alright, so that's our Rose Olaf of the night. Let's see if we can get a couple more needles here real quick. If not, it'll bring day 8 to a close. How many more needles? Oh shoot, we need 4. We'll go until we don't get needles for 3 straight fights. As soon as we don't get don't get a needle in 3, we'll call the night. And of course, pick up tomorrow with day 9. That's 1. Of course, if energy runs out, that will be a stopping point as well. There's a needle. Also, if we do make our 5, we'll call it there as well. Actually, we'll take it down to 2 in a row without. Well, there's a needle that gets us 3, so 2 more wills complete our requirement. There's one miss. If this next one doesn't give us a needle, we'll be finished for the night. Well, with that, we'll call it a day. Till day 9. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe, and release the Kraken.